What up, y'all? It's your boy Martine, aka the Boxing Purist. Welcome once again to the Truth and Absolute channel, where I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, good God Almighty. All right, y'all. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure that you hit that like button, that subscribe button. If you've been subscribed to the channel, make sure that you're sharing this channel with everybody. I know I'm not fancy. I know that I'm the Android assassin, but I like to think I keep it real. What do you guys think? Anyway, y'all, let's jump right into this one. So, I go off videos off what's trending, and then something I'll just be thinking about something in my head. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about something, I'm dissecting it in my head, I'm looking at a history, I'm looking forward, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to make a video about this. Now, this may be unpopular to a lot of people, okay? And I understand that. But I'm not here to please anyone. I'm just here to spit the truth, and God willing, y'all respect that. And if you don't, I mean, tough luck, right? So I'm here to talk about none other than Tankdavis. Gervonta Tank Davis, okay? I'm not here to bash on the dude or to say anything like that. I'm simply here to spit the truth of what I think of Tankdavis and what I see and how analysts talk about Tankdavis. You see, I'm not sold right away on fighters, okay? And as far back as I could remember, as I've been watching the sport, not casually as a kid, pay-per-views, your parents putting it on or whatever. I'm talking about when I really jumped and started watching the sport, started seeing the art of boxing for what it was. That's when I'm like, okay, I know that the media is blowing you up. I know that you're getting the covers of magazines. I know they're calling you this monster, this and that. However, I'm still not sold on you, And I've gone through that with a lot of fighters, man. I'll keep it real with y'all. I went through that with Tyson Fury. I went through that with Canelo. I went through it with Teofimo Lopez. I've gone through it with a few fighters. That's just to name some, okay? It doesn't matter how the media was perceiving them. It doesn't matter how they were trying to market them to us. I'm like, no, they could call you whatever. They're making money off of you. Myself, I get to say what the hell I want because I'm not making money or losing money off of my opinion of what I'm seeing these dudes do. So when I hear Stephen A. talk about is Gervonta Davis possible pound for pound number one, I'm like shaking my head like, say what? Who sponsored your video? When I'm seeing that show with Chris Algieri, which is the boxing JJ Redick, Timothy Bradley and Paulie Malignaggi talking about this dude again, I'm like, what? When I'm hearing all of these guys, to the Teddy Atlas, to everyone, I'm like, either something is wrong with me, either I'm a hater, or I'm not seeing what they're seeing. Okay? And the reason I say that is because I hear these analysts talk about all fighters. A lot of fighters, and they're not consistent with it. They're just not consistent with it. And I don't understand that. When you're talking about fighters at an elite level, keep it consistent. That is where I'm like, okay, no. How you gonna give this man his flowers for doing this that is not equivalent to what the next man did, but the next man you're just gonna critique him, crap all over his performance, but this little guy picked you one flower and all of a sudden you wanna blow him up? Now, listen to where I'm coming from, okay? And I get it, okay? In my head, I came to the conclusion that knockout artists are always gonna have they're always going to have a bigger role with the analysts because even your casual fan, even your person that doesn't watch boxing could watch a highlight from the night before and talk about it the next day at work. You know what I'm saying? Oh, did you see such and such knock out that fighter? Wow. I didn't see the fight, but I saw the highlight. I don't watch boxing, but that was amazing. And I'm starting to notice that's where these fighters are very marketable. It doesn't matter who they knock out as long as they're knocking out fighters. Now, go back on the time machine with me, okay? Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin was a beast, and I don't take nothing from Golovkin. But for a while there, he was just knocking out whoever they threw in front of him, but none of them were elite fighters. So for me, I could say the guy could punch, but I'm not going to put you up and up on the pound-for-pound ladder for knocking these dudes out. Deontay Wilder was knocking every single body out. Everyone. None of those guys were really contenders. None of them were really contenders. None of those guys were going to go out and be the next heavyweight champion of the world. So myself, I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not going to give you your flowers just yet. It is not going to happen. And I'm having the same issue right now with Gervonta Tank Davis because let's just rewind a little bit. Tank knocked out Rolly, and it's funny because a lot of these analysts will be like, he showed great quit against Rolly. Mind you, Rolly was like, what, 10, 11 fights in? Never showed no real skill. He was just entertaining and he could sell. Are we really going to call Gervonta a beast for knocking out Rolly? Hector Garcia. Hector Garcia was, I think he's mandatory if I'm not mistaken, but was Hector Garcia ever going to be a big champion? Was he ever going to take over that weight division? Was he ever going to be elite? No. Okay, no. Mario Barrios. Oh, man, he beat Mario Barrios. Okay, he beat a Mario Barrios who he weight drained and put a rehydration clause on him. Why is it when it comes to Tankdavis, we just ignore these things like they don't matter? We just shove them to the side and, oh, Tank's a beast, Tank a beast. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia, he weight drained to 136 and did not allow him to rehydrate only to 143, which means he didn't fight Ryan Garcia. He fought a half a Garcia. You know what I'm trying to say? Frank Martin is a game fighter, but he is nowhere an elite fighter. Frank Martin is not an elite fighter. He's an A fighter, but he's not an A+ elite level fighter. Nonetheless, I'm not taking away from Tank's win over Frank Martin, okay? Because Tank was patient. He let him have it. He timed it. He saw at the weigh-in or at one of those face-offs that Frank Martin will fall for a feint, and Tank used it to his advantage, and he got it. Congratulations to Tank. The man has power and all that. But for myself, I see the Tank tactic. And on this one, and this is crazy, I agree with Paulie Malignaggi on this one. Now, Paulie Malignaggi was kind of soft when he was talking about Gervonta Tankdavis, because on that show, it must be a PBC show. It must be Tank's handlers that run that show with Chris Algieri, Tim Bradley, and the other dude. But Paulie Malignaggi in a conversation in the street, I know would be saying the same thing, like, okay, yeah, but there's too many guys at 135 and 140 for Tank not to be fighting them. And if he's not fighting them, how are we going to have Tank ranked so high? How are we going to give this dude his flowers? How are we going to make excuses for him when he only fights one time in a year? He'll fight Frank Martin. He's going to call out Conor Benn, Lomachenko. Mind you, Lomachenko wanted this fight a long time ago, but we'll leave that for another video. He'll call them out on Twitter, talk crap to this one, talk crap to this one, and next Christmas, we're going to see him with a rematch with Hector Garcia on pay-per-view, and some of y'all are going to buy it. You know, do you hear like the emotion coming out of me? It's because it bugs me, man. It really, really bugs me. When I'm seeing people like Teddy Atlas, who I have major respect for Teddy Atlas, but then he hops on there and says that Tank is this, Tank is that. It's like, yo, Teddy, why don't you keep it consistent, bro? Out of your mouth, Stephen A., out of your mouth, you're saying that Tank is the top gun, the face of boxing, right? Okay, so let's just move over a little bit to the 168-pound division, and let's talk about Canelo. And again, y'all, this is not to defend Canelo. This is the whole idea, the purpose, the whole idea of everything is what I'm talking about, the consistency that we have to keep if we're going to talk about boxing, okay? If you compare Canelo's resume to Tank Davis' resume, it is apples and oranges. They don't even compare. If you've seen the weight jumps that Canelo has done in his career and dared to be great, again, it doesn't compare. If you see how often Canelo is fighting and the level of opposition that Canelo is fighting, are you kidding me? At 29 years old, Canelo was already 8 times accomplished more than Tank Davis did. Okay? Whatever. I'm not comparing Tank to Canelo. What I'm doing is calling out the analysts for the way that they like to call out some fighters, talk about some fighters, and how they like to trash other fighters. That is my biggest issue, and that is what inspired me to make this here video. Do y'all see where I'm coming from? You could call me a hater. Hell, that's what I might call this video, whatever. But that is how I see it. It is blasphemous, in my personal opinion. Blasphemous to have to baby Tank's performance every time he goes out there, to not call out the rehydration clause that he puts on fighters, to not call out how he weight drains fighters, to not call out that he'll stay out of the ring for a year and a half, to not call out that he'll call every fighter out on Twitter but never fight them. Where am I lying? Tell me, where is the lie? Tell me, where am I lying? Again, I watched Tank fight. I like Tank. Tank seems like a good dude. I'm simply calling out the analysts that make Tank seem like the face of boxing, like he's a king. I get it. He's marketable. I get it. He has a very high KO percentage. I get all that. But is that how we're going to judge the sport? I thought we had to base it off the level of opposition that you fighting. If you're willing to jump up and wait and take risks. How many times a year are you fighting? So Tank gets to fight once every year and a half, put all these clauses on fighters, and be the king of the sport? Teddy Atlas, Stephen A. Smith, Chris Algieri, Tim, all you guys could say it, okay? You guys are people just like me. But for me, hell no. You still got to earn your flowers. There's too many fights to be making at 140 for you not to be fighting them dudes, okay? Without the rehydration clauses, without none of that nonsense, without obviously always giving you the advantage, Tankdavis. You know what I'm saying? I know I went kind of on a rant, y'all. Y'all could tell that this is what I've been thinking about. But come on, y'all. Keep it real, okay? I'm not taking away from Tank at all. I'm simply saying in my book, he's great, yeah. But he's not how these guys make him sound, man, okay? I get it. Y'all could try to sell the dude all y'all want. Tankdavis might be the thread you guys are hanging on to as far as his promotional company goes. But let's keep it 100. Let's keep it real. It's the Truth and Absolute channel, y'all. Y'all got something to say, man? If y'all want to speak on it, drop a comment down below because I would love to discuss this issue. Okay? Drop a comment, man. A lot of my boxing dudes and females down there will chat with y'all. It's been fun. I'll speak to you soon. Much love. God bless and peace.